Hey there. So today what I want to do is demonstrate a piece of software that I made and made for a very specific purpose. What this software is, it's in my Danu suite of tools for game creation. The first one was a Danu Lua editor, so that you could edit Lua scripts and have all the functions and syntax right beside you, right in the editor, and easy to make your own code with. So this one is a little different. This one is the Danu scenario generator. And it can actually be used for any game engine that you're working with because it doesn't actually create content for the game engine. What it does is it suggests content creation for the game engine. So a lot of people aspiring to be indie game developers or game developers that maybe are in the middle of a big game and doing a bunch of different scenarios and maps and things, and they're struggling for an idea for a filler map, or they need something that's going to give them, something different than where their brain normally goes. And how I use it is a practice tool for level design. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to switch over here to screen capture. And what you're going to see now is basically this web page, my logo, and then this spreadsheet. This is just a simple Excel document. So what we do is we just open this, drag it over to the screen necessary here. And what it gives you is it gives you Danu Scenario Editor, and there's my little Celtic logo there. And it's got pretty straightforward instructions. Load your Excel file and generate. So I point to the Excel file, same folder, just my software, Danu Scenario. Open. And now it gives you all these categories down here. So in the first one, it's got environment size. So now, if you're using, say, RGP tools, each of the units in there is approximately a meter in size. So that would be like, 20 meters by 20 meters, and all the way up to 120 by 120. Now again, the charm of this system that I've built is this all is fed from that Excel spreadsheet. So all you need to do is go into these tables and edit them to whatever you want. And then there'll be different features. Now this is just a convenience previewer on the side so you can see what's in your spreadsheet and if they're displaying properly. So environment size, environment type, West Coast coniferous forest, coastal temperate rainforest, Sitka spruce belt, scroll all the way down here to something different, orchard, sandy desert, Floridian swamp, desert coast. You get the idea. Then there's a background feature idea for you. So small water feature, small decay or destructive features, small flora or fauna features, medium on all those, and large on all those. And then there's a bunch. And you can add more as you want. So again, it's not telling you, hey, put a waterfall here, put a pond here. It's saying put a water feature or something. So it gets you thinking, okay, well, I need to put some water features in here, or I need to put a swamp feature in here, or I need to put some ruins in here, or whatever, right? Like a civilization feature might be ruins, or a modern civilization feature might be active walls. And by modern, it could be like, depending on what your theme is, it could be post-apocalyptic, could be sci-fi, could be dystopian future, could be medieval, could be Roman. It doesn't matter. It'd be modern features as in upkept and running with the time frame, right? Like, so whatever it was, could be a Roman wall. So then that's the background features. Then you've got prominent features. So a small farm, a river, an old stone bridge. So these are more specific things to incorporate into it. Wooden footbridge across a ravine or chasm, right? So those sorts of things. And then it's got a theme suggestion. Now, this you could take or not take, whatever, but I put it in there in case you're struggling for ideas. And as I said, this is a practice software. Like, I developed it for myself for practice level building. So I'm not always building a coastal forest, because I love building coastal forests. Like, I love them. But you need to step outside your comfort zone. And with a tool like this, what's going to happen is you are going to be able to step outside your comfort zone, and you're going to be able to build areas and levels and stuff that aren't necessarily what you would think of, but it gives you that practice. And when you're building a game with a whole bunch of different areas, maybe it might even help you fill out the voids if you're having a bad brain day and you just can't think of things. Like, oh, I'll just run through the generator and there's my next level, and then I'll just do a quest that segues into that or whatever. So anyway, so then there's a bunch of different zones. So how that works now, it's super simple. Once you've loaded your spreadsheet with your, rather my data, because this is free on my itch.io page, so you just go and grab it. If you want to make a donation, I appreciate it, but I'm not expecting a donation or anything like this. This is a tool to help people speed design, and I built this tool for myself, and I'm just sharing it for other people. This is a to get better at level design tool. But down here you can avoid immediate repeats. So if you're running like generate 5 or just hitting the generate button over and over to find something that you want, it'll avoid repeating the exact same thing each time it randomly generates, because it's a random generator, right? So I'm going to click on that. Use weights, syntax item weight. You could use that if you want. It basically just weighs things towards. I'm just going to leave that alone. You can play around with that or not. I really haven't noticed that the algorithm makes any difference in there with it. Like it's supposed to weigh more heavily towards. So if you're generating an Arctic coast, it's supposed to find things down here that are more Arctic coasty, right? I've noticed it doesn't work perfectly. I probably got to tweak it, but if you want, you can check that, and then it's supposed to weigh these other things to match this a little bit better. I don't know if that works or not. Whatever. It's a work in progress. I'm going to turn it on anyway, just because I can. And then this clears the output so you start over on this screen. So if nothing here is what you want, then it can clear that out. So generally you would just hit generate, and there we go. It generated an output for us. So what we've created is we have an environment size of 30 by 30, environment type, ponderosa pine, dry woodland interior. Then we want small water features, and then prominent feature, old road with old equipment, and the theme, ancient mythology. So I guess it would be like an old Roman or Norse, probably Roman because ponderosa pine, right? So something like that. And then it just wraps it all up into a nice little pitch for you, right? 30 by 30 ponderosa pine, dry woodland interior, setting with a small water feature centered around an old road with old equipment, exploring ancient mythology. So, and again, the in quotes here is suggestive, because that's just like if you're doing level design, it's nice to have an idea in your head of what you're building for. Now, if you're building for your own game and you've already got your own theme going, that's why it's in quotes. You just ignore it. It's like it's not relevant to you. But it is relevant if you're just going bang, 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 and you're wanting to build on your skill set and tweak your skills and make your abilities better and better and better at level design. Now, that being said, I did say that that was a single generate. So here we're going to hit the generate 5. Because maybe you're looking to do a drill, but it's like, yeah, that one doesn't tweak you. Maybe it's like you're more of a sci-fi or post-apocalyptic guy, and you really don't want to do like just a simple road, or you want some other options to choose from. Instead of hitting this generate over and over again, you can just hit this generate 5, and boom. Now we got 5 more scenarios, right? So there's scenario 1, 110 by 110, so pretty big area. Coastal Douglas fir uplands, large flora and fauna, large fauna features, so like big ferns and bushes and plants and stuff, or maybe a big crop circle ring or something. Who knows, right? Mill or ruins by the river, and modern mystery. So that could be more like Call of Cthulhu sort of scenario or whatever in your mind. So you could have it more like by kind of like an old coastal plantation up in like Portland, Oregon, or around Vancouver Island or something, like whatever, right? So anyway, that's the first one. And then of course there's the pitch. I'm not going to read it because it just goes over what we did. Scenario 2, size 100 by 100. And you see there's no repeat. We didn't repeat the 30 by 30. We didn't repeat the 110. We went to 100 by 100. So type Rain Shadow Arbutus Bluffs, Gari Oak Meadow. So a bunch of rocky kind of bluffs and cliffland with a bunch of oaks and a meadow below, sort of thing, right? Small earthy features, an old stone bridge, high fantasy. Okay, next one down, scenario 3, a 120 by 120. Wow, these are all pretty big ones. These are all pretty big areas. So, but you might not have time. So that's the thing why this Generate 5 is great. Like, but this one is subarctic, lichen woodland, leafless trees, large ruins features, wooden footbridge across a ravine, river, or chasm. So you could have like a dried tundra chasm or an ice chasm or something there, and post-apocalyptic. So you could have old desecrated town, school building, house, whatever, been destroyed and long gone or something. All right, next scenario, 30 by 30. Okay, now we're getting down to a smaller size again. Floridian swamp. Okay, so here you're building a swamp with lots of small ferns and bushes and things in it. Small flora features. Old road with old equipment. Okay, so that one reoccurred. That came up again. Now I don't think I have that many things in that category. I think because each one of these is different. Like I've got a huge amount in the. If I come up here, there's only a handful of sizes. Right, it goes from 20 by 20 all the way up to 120 by 120. So not very many entries in the spreadsheet. And then the environment type, it's like I got quite a few in there, right? But then you come down to these features. There's only a few different features, and it's small, medium, or large. Down here, prominent features. There's like 15 of them or 20. Theme suggestions, I think there's only like 8. So you, again, have control over that Excel spreadsheet. You can take mine out. You can change the naming. You can edit them. You can put your own in. You can do whatever you want. You can edit that spreadsheet. So it's very customizable to your own scenario needs and your own generation needs. And then, so where was I? Okay, a Floridian swamp setting, in case we did the Florida swamp. And then last is a 90 by 90 maple, oak, aspen, parkland edge, small decay or destruction features, camp or campfire circle, high fantasy. So you could do a small deciduous forest basically, and maybe a wildfire swept through, or a blighted swept through, or you're on the edge of a cemetery or something, or a wasteland. Something for those decay features, just kind of creeping in because you're kind of on the outskirts because it's small decay features. Or it might just be an old camp the camp or campfire that you're setting at or crossing, and it's decayed and worn down, and there's a bunch of abandoned stuff or whatever, right? So anyway, you can see how that works. So now what I wanted to show you was talk about this environment size. So like in RGP tools, these are like meters. In Game Guru Max, they're meters. I believe in Unity they could be meters. So whatever your game engine is, it's just whatever the unit of measurement is, it's these. And if you're in a game engine with a unit of measurement where that's tiny and it doesn't really give you enough to work with, well, then you would just change these out in your spreadsheet for your game engine. So maybe you didn't want it at 20 by 20 because maybe that's just a pretty small, maybe it's like feet or something, or maybe it's some grid measurement or 3D measurement unit that's really not very big and that you needed to adjust it. So, you could change those to say 200 by 200 or 100 by 100 or whatever you want. You can adjust those. And same thing the other way. What if that was 20 kilometers by 20 kilometers? And you could change that down to, say, 2 kilometers by 2 kilometers. So you've got a lot of flexibility to edit that spreadsheet to be whatever you need it to be. And I'm just going to give you a quick example now, because what I want to do is I am going to pick one here. What do we got? I'll do this 30 by 31 because that's an easy one to do. 30 by 30 Ponderosa Pine Woodland. And I'm just going to do it in RGP Tools because it's easy. That's the engine I've been working with lately. And yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire that up. Now, I'm not going to go into depth and really flush this out. I'm just going to quickly open project I've got and build a new level and then do that. So we're just going to open. And I'm just going to move this off screen here. The generator. I'm just moving it off screen so you can see me actually just quickly whip this out. Okay, so now I'm just going to go File, New, Level, and then, so I'm going to do this first one. So it's 30 by 30. And I'm leaving the tile width and stuff alone. I'm just leaving those all as defaults. Not going to mess with any of that stuff. Going to leave it with an add centered light. So 30 by 30. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So here we are. We're in a 30 by 30 zone. I'm just going to just make sure you can see what I'm working on. Yeah. Okay. Now it says ponderosa pine, dry woodland interior. So I think what I'm going to do, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come here to I'm in my place toad. I'm on that. And I'm going to want to go fill with tile. And then ponderosa pine, I'm just going to choose. I'm going to choose this. No, I'm going to choose this one, I think. No, this one. There we go. Just fill that up with that one. Now I'm going to change mode again from fill mode to place tiles. And I'm going to go to this one here. And I'm just going to randomly, I need to zoom out a little bit here. And I'm just working with my own tiles right now. These will be available. Once I'm super happy with how they're working, they're going to be available on my itch.io page for, I don't know, like $5 or something. And I may even donate some to, I've been talking to Martin about maybe donating some to the cause. And over here. And that one, and that one, and that one. A little bit in there, a little bit here. There we go. Okay, good enough. We got some ground covered. So we got a little bit of ground covered. All right. So small ponderosa. Pardon me. Take a sip of my coffee. Small ponderosa pine, dry woodland. All right. So I probably want the woodland a little drier in here. So I'm just gonna go with a bit of this. Don't need it quite so lush. There we go. That looks better. All right, that's pretty good. Okay, so dry woodland. So we got the base ground laid on. We'll need to put some pines in there, but we're gonna want an old road with old equipment. So we're gonna want to paint a road in there. And then small water features. So maybe just a tiny little babbling creek, maybe some still water. Let's just go to, what do we want? What size am I on here? Let's go. Bring that down to 1. Bring that down to 1. Change that from a rectangle to a circle. Of course, it goes back up to 3 again. Okay, a 1. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make this a little creek. Little tiny creek. Just pretty much go more or less straight through. I'm not a huge fan of that, actually. I do not like how that looks, so. Instead, I want that guy. Let's just do this as a road that goes through. There we we go. We got a road that goes across. Nice old dirt road. We'll make it a little bit wider. A little bit wider. Okay. Then I think what I'll do for water features instead is I'll just add a couple of maybe a little boggy there. And then yeah, I don't like doing any of that on that. Instead, I think I'll add a shader to that. Browse. And I'm just going to go with a, what type of shader do I want to put on there? Yeah, that one works. I'll use that one, and then over here we'll go a little bit more, and over here a little bit more. There, we've got a little bit of a bog showing up off to the side, so it's going to be a dry woodland with a little bit of a bog happening. Okay, so now I need to place some items on there. So let's go with layer. We're going to go now to object layer, and then I'm going to go to placement. Now I want to put a couple of things on here. Oh, actually, undo. Don't want to place those there. Oh, whatever, I'll leave them. Doesn't matter, doesn't hurt anything. It's supposed to be a speed run. I'm not going to mess around with that. Cattail. There, good enough. Got some cattails happening. Right. Alright. I don't want to get distracted. Okay. So scrolling down. So what I'm going to do is I need now some old equipment and some ponderosa pine trees. So mow, growth options, filter. Let's go for pine. Oh, tree. Let's look for pine trees. Okay. Dead tree one. Those are my giant trees. We don't need to worry about those. Apple trees. Don't need to worry about those. Birch, cedar. So recently what I've done is I've gone through and I've taken all of Jesse's trees, like mine I name as I want them, but so I've taken all of Jesse's trees and I've renamed all of them, and I've all looked them up with Google Lens, and so get a close facsimile, narrow it down, and come up with the best guess for them. So I've got a bunch of renamed trees to make it way easier. And as you can see, it's like dead C1, dead cedar 2, dead cork tree. Right, so I've got all these different types of trees. Eucalyptus. I want to go all the way down past palm. Do I have any pine? I'm not sure I've got pine. I'm into the S now. I've got like winter ones, right? Like my snow pines. I think it's like spruce or fir is what I'm going to be looking for. Yeah, it's going to be these spruce, but I'll go with might just go with these cedar. Nah, I'll use the spruce. Okay, so we're going to go one there, One there. One there. One there. Put one there. And one there. One there. It's a bit bigger. I'm just going to keep them small-ish. Okay, now I think I'll just throw a couple of these cedars in just because. There we go. Alright, and now I need something, old equipment besides the side of the road. So instead of tree, we're going to go. I don't think there's anything called equipment. Let's go. What was the? It's ancient mythology, so. It's a mill. Not sure what I've got in my folder, so. I don't think I tend to keep my folders a little bit lean. Got lots of rocks and stuff. Alright, I do have some of Jesse's assets in here. Old mythology, let's find some old equipment. There's some just bear with me, I'm just scrolling down until I find something I can flush this level out with to. Yeah. Some Cooper stuff. Put an old wagon wheel on the ground. Another one there. Okay. That off to the side of the road. There we go. And ooh, how about something like that? Yeah, it doesn't look good. Doesn't fit this scenario. I'm just trying to look for something to fill her up here, but put a ladder on the ground over here. Barrel. Yep. What else do we got? Some rope. Throw that beside the ladder. Actually, we'll take that one. Delete that out of there. And we're going to put one that's got barrels and stuff in there. I think this one will work. Sure. Move that. Right there. Perfect. There's some old equipment sitting on the side of the road. Anything else I need? I don't think so. I think that's good enough for demo purposes. I don't need anything else. So now we've just built this level. I'm just going to hit play. And here we go. We got this nice little level. I'll just zip over to the edge here. So again, what we've got is a 30 by 30 environment. Ponderosa dry pine woodland interior. Small water features, which are down here. Just a little bit of some swamp I put in here with a water shader attached to them. That swamp looks pretty good. Threw a few cattails on it. A couple lily pads just to spice it up a bit, but you can see that that swamp water looks really good with that water one in there. That looks real swampy. Then old road, cutting through it with an old wagon and some barrels, a ladder and stuff there, so that meets the old equipment thing on there without looking too hard. And there you go. I don't know how long that took to make. That was probably a 10-minute level, maybe 15-minute level. But there you go. That's pretty much my software in a nutshell and an example of how to use it in a game engine. So, of course, other game engines, different ways of putting everything down, but the scenario generator is basically the same. It's to help you speed level, develop your skills, and maybe come up with filler ideas. Because like if I cut back over here again to my screen capture, this could just be a transition. You need a couple transitions going through from area to area, and you already laid down like 3 of the same thing, and you want something else. Well, there you go. The scenario generator came up with something for you. You know, between point A and point B, you've now got a mid-screen area to go through or whatever. So anyway, I hope that you find that this tool is going to be of good use for you, even if you just use it to practice level design. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.